Welcome back to another video. Like the title says, Crownland Camping. What are the essentials? What do you need? Because the fall camping season is officially here, which means provincial campgrounds are soon to be closed. All right, let's get right into this Crownland camping video. You have the provincial park campgrounds, which you can book online. You can reserve a campsite. It's got all the facilities, washroom, showers, firewood that you can get, all of those things. So basically, most of what you need to go camping other than what you bring is available for you there. Crownland is basically area, forested area or not, fields that is owned by the Crown, and it's free to use for camping if you wish. The reason why I really enjoy Crownland camping is because, one, it's free. Also, there's just endless area and space for you to go and explore, and you can just set up your tent and you can camp where you want, within reason or within some limits. Here in Ontario, Canada especially, a lot of the mapping areas that are shown are shaded in yellow is Crownland, and it's free to use. You can just show up and you can go camp where you want. There's a couple things to keep in mind or consider if you're going to go and explore and you're going to do some Crownland camping. And what I'm going to do is show you the gear and what I bring and some essentials that you'll need compared to camping, say, at a provincial park. So for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to be setting up a tent. I'm not going to be talking about the tenting gear and all of those basics. That stuff, if you already do camping and you want to get into Crownland, you may already have. Okay, most definitely one of the most important pieces that you're going to need when you're heading out is going to be a tarp. I bring 2 tarps. I have a couple of different sizes, and that's going to provide you cover if you need to over top of your tent, or to set up a sheltered area if you're not going to bring a pop-up eating tent, something like that. So I have 2 different size tarps that I use, and I also set up one of the tarps off of the back of the Jeep because this tends to be my workspace, my cooking area, because I have a fold down shelf over here. So that's where I set up the stove, and that's where I do the cooking, and then I've got the rest of the gear. You got to check out one of my videos. It has over 30,000 views, and I think the reason being is because it's so simple, easy to set up, and it's inexpensive. So I'll leave a link for that video to check it out. It's a tarp canopy off the back of the vehicle, less than 50 bucks, and you've got yourself a killer tarp canopy setup. Okay, so check that video out. You're going to want to bring a folding chair of some kind, and perhaps a folding, well, there you go, see how it folds? A folding table and a folding chair. So I'm gonna set this one up, and then I can sit and I can show you the rest of the gear that I got. Okay, I don't know, camera malfunctioned, so I'm not sure exactly where we're at when the camera shut off. So the nice thing I like about this one, it pumps directly into the water bottle. Toss your hose into the water source, less mess, and the filter cartridge that's inside is replaceable. So you can, I think it's about 50 bucks or something, and you pull the cartridge out, put a new cartridge in, and that's gonna last you for quite a long time, unless you're living in the bush and that's your main water filter. So there's an option, as well as tablets that you can add to the water or boiling. So make sure you have clean drinking water, and make sure you have enough water. If it's just you, enough water for the weekend, but if you have 2 of you or however many people, make sure you have sufficient water, because you're not only using it to drink, to stay hydrated, but you're using it for quite a bit of your cooking. You'd be surprised how fast you go through water when you're out in the bush and you can't just walk over to a fill station at the provincial campground. Okay, so keep your water clean. There you go. Let's keep this rolling. The weather, I didn't set up the tarp, the weather's coming in and it's looking pretty dark, so let's get this moving. Next, let's talk about safety, which I probably should have talked about first, being the safety kind of oriented guy that I am. But when you head out into the bush, it's just you and your surroundings. Make sure that you have some type of first aid kit. So I've got this little medical kit, first aid kit. I've got another one. This one stays in the little camping bin. This one stays in the back of the Jeep all the time. And then I have a duffel bag size one for long travels. That's the equivalent to like a paramedic bag. The easiest thing to do if you're not sure of what to get a pre-made kit that has all of the basics in there for you. There's all kinds of sizes, different shaped bags. You can get it like in a box style. And you know, they can get a little bit more expensive. However, typically the bigger the kit, you get more stuff. That's just going to provide you with more first aid supplies in case you have some type of accident. Okay, make sure you've got a first aid kit. You want to have some type of decent size bush knife or a hunting knife. So I've always got all kinds of, I have a pocket knife, but this is more of a hunting style knife that I can use around the camp if I need to, and or if potentially there's something, you know, walking around your tent out in the bush. I don't know what you're gonna do as far as a knife, but this is one thing that I absolutely recommend if you're heading out to the bush. Get yourself a can of bear spray, okay? I carry bear spray on me all the time, so I have on my pouch, on my belt, I have bear spray and I have a knife. So for potential threats or protection, those are two of the things you want to have, as well as keeping yourself safe in case you get injured, is a first aid kit. I have my hunting knife on one side, and then I've got my bear spray that's in a pouch on the other side. Just has a Velcro tab. I can pull it out, and then the orange is a safety pin. That way I don't accidentally press the button. Next thing you're gonna need is a chainsaw. Okay, I'm just kidding. You don't need to buy a chainsaw. I don't recommend just going out and buy a chainsaw and using it if you don't know how to. But you do need something to cut your wood. You are going to need something for splitting up your wood. There's tons of dead, dry wood out in the bush. Usually I bring some kindling to make sure it's dry to get my fire going. You're going to want to have yourself a hatchet, or if you're going to need to be chopping some bigger stuff, go with a full-size axe. You can tell by the shape of this one. I need to file it a bit, grind it down. Edge is getting a little bit dull on this one. Hatchet and or an axe, I usually bring both. When I go into the bush, I do bring my chainsaw. If there's a dead tree that's down, there's tons of free firewood as well. Just be careful if you don't know how to use a chainsaw. I don't recommend going that route, but for those of you that do, bring your chainsaw, or you can get yourself a bow saw or a saw. So like this one here, folds out. Come on now. There we go. As long as I get it into the notch properly. There we go. This one just goes into the groove like that and snaps over, and there you go. Look at the teeth on that bad boy. Okay, so nice, lightweight, compact, and you can get through some pretty good sized logs with a saw. You can get through some pretty good sized logs with a saw like this. Super handy. These things work amazing. And then when you fold it up, hang on, I did it wrong. Come on now. There you go. When you fold it up, it's just that size. This one is made by Agawa, and this one is called the Boreal 21. So hatchet, axe, saw, and then if you want, bring yourself a chainsaw. Another important piece of kit, so I always bring leather gloves. One, to protect my hands if I'm cutting wood, I'm doing stuff in the bush. Also, when handling the fire, you're better off to use your leather gloves than say like a fleece or your ski gloves or something, because they're gonna melt, where this can handle the heat much better, protects your hands. Another handy piece of kit is going to be a shovel. So this one comes apart. So the handle and the shovel end come completely apart, so it's easy to pack up. As well as this handle, this one extends out to make it a little bit longer, easier to use. Really handy if you need to dig yourself a bit of a pit for your fire. Also, you can use it to throw dirt onto your fire to put it out, so you're not using up some of that valuable water that you have. Okay, so another handy one is I like to use a metal one for the simple reason, if I'm working around the fire, I'm not going to melt the blade on a plastic shovel. There you go, shovel. Okay, more kit that you can't forget. This is super important. Maybe this one should have been the first one of all of them. Make sure you bring yourself tons of toilet paper. I've got mine in some zip up seal bags. Bring plenty of toilet paper. I'm not gonna get into what you need to do. You know what you need to do, but you're gonna need this to do it. Bring toilet paper. So there's a second tarp that I have. Bring a lot of extra rope and cord to set up maybe a clothesline, and depending where you are, you might not have sufficient trees to get yourself a good tarp set up. So what I do is I have this little mesh bag, and inside the mesh bag I have all of my smaller cord. This is the stuff that I use for my tarp. So I've got these in 25-foot lengths. They're already bundled up individually, so they're nice and tidy inside. They're not going to get all bundled up. And then I also leave in here all of my tarp clips. So I've got different carabiners for the tarp. I've also got those figure 9. You guys have seen these in a ton of my videos. So I've got the little quick clips that I use for the tarp, and I've got them all together, all in this nice little mesh bag. Then my stuff's not getting all twisted up with all of the ropes. It's actually moved in. So I'm gonna take apart a couple of these items, but I'll keep talking to you because I did bring some rain gear. And look at that, look at how easy this one folds up. Comes with a little carrying case. Look at that, boom, folding table. This one's made by Sportneer. Got it on Amazon for 20 bucks, I think. Same with the chair. Really like these. I've said this before and I'll say it again. Dry equals warm. If you get wet, especially in the fall, going into winter, colder temperatures, if you get wet, you start to get cold, it's hard to warm up. So make sure you have sufficient clothing. I'm not gonna get into all the clothing gear, but make sure you got sufficient rain gear. I got a rain jacket, I've got rain pants, and for myself, I prefer to wear, this is a waterproof brim hat, just because I don't like having a hood. It restricts my vision, and it also restricts the sound and everything else, and I don't feel so constricted with the hood. Unless it's raining sideways, of course I'll use it, but I prefer to wear a full brim hat like this, which is waterproof. Make sure you got yourself some decent rain gear. Look at how funny, this is too funny. Okay guys, so literally it was pouring rain, and you can see the difference now. The sun is just cranking out. It's gorgeous out right now. Look at this beautiful trail. Fall is here and I love it. Get out, explore the wilderness. You don't need much more than what your regular camping stuff is. That's just some recommendations of mine of what will help you out if you're going to do some Crownland camping. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Give it a thumbs up. On the road to 1,000 subscribers. Thanks for all the comments and for watching. That's it. So we'll see you in the next adventure. Bye.